I can't believe this, guys. Former Vice President Kamala Harris actually tried having her "I told you so" moment when she's the one that's actually being exposed by this new book. Now, apparently Kamala Harris, she couldn't contain the laughter, or should I say her cackle, about Trump's initiatives being tied up in courts and stocks taking a nosedive as the global markets are taking a little bit of time to adjust to Trump's tariffs. But for me, the real headline is this new book, or what's in this new book, I should say. In fact, The Hill reporter Amy Parn and NBC reporter Jonathan Allen fight inside the wildest battle for the White House. Now, it's been said that Kamala Harris was blindsided by her 2024 election loss to President Trump because she bought the hype that she would win. But not only that, guys, the book also revealed that former President Barack Obama hesitated to endorse Kamala Harris, believing that she couldn't win against Trump. Now, as for what happened in the stock market, economist Steve Moore, he explained that China is the real villain, essentially responsible for the sharp downturn in the stock market. Now, he said it was all because of China's retaliatory measures that were pretty much an economic declaration of war against the United States. And guys, don't buy into the mainstream media hype that's talking about President Trump's administration failing. Just this weekend, the Senate passed a budget blueprint that covers many of President Donald Trump's legislative priorities, including a permanent extension for the president's 2017 tax cuts and the $175 billion in new spending on border security. Job creation smashed expectations last month, with the economy adding 228,000 jobs. This is far more than average. Just as impressive as the top line number is the makeup of these jobs, which overwhelmingly came from the productive private sector, not in the bloated federal government like in Biden's time. Alfredo Ortiz, president of the Job Creators Network, said it best: ignore the noise about President Trump's economy. I mean, seriously, guys, are you going to listen to people like Kamala Harris who are outright cackling about this? Watch.
Things that we are witnessing each day in these last few months in our country. And it understandably creates a great sense of fear. Because, you know, there were many things that we knew would happen. Many things. I'm not here to say I told you so.
I'm not here to say I told you so is the last line in that clip. A rare speech from the former VP Kamala Harris. Her comments coming as we're learning more details about her failed presidential bid. There are two new books out right now, political tell-alls that pull back the curtain on how Democrats fell apart before the election of 2024. Intriguing topic. Jason Miller now, senior advisor in President Trump's campaign and his transition team. And Jason, welcome back here. You heard a bit of Harris's speech from yesterday. What you learn in that, do you think?
Yeah. Good morning, Bill. Great to be with you, especially with this huge jobs report out today. But I tell you, hearing Kamala Harris speak, I think this 2028 primary between Kamala Harris and Crooked Hillary is really starting to heat up, so I'm looking forward to it. But the word salad that we saw from Kamala Harris and heard from Kamala Harris really reminds you of just how terrible of a candidate Kamala Harris was. And, you know, I think back to these the scenes during the campaign that these books highlight where Kamala Harris couldn't name anything that she would change from what Joe Biden was doing. And the fact of the matter was, it was a change election, and Americans wanted President Trump and President Trump's policies back, with fixing the economy, securing the border, cleaning up our streets, making sure that we get back to world peace. But Kamala Harris didn't get that. She couldn't name one single thing she would do different than Joe Biden.
Now, seriously, guys, every time Kamala Harris speaks, it feels like, I don't know, like I feel like I lose a brain cell or two. I mean, she's obviously completely out of her depth. I mean, this is why it's come as no surprise that this latest book revealed that Barack Obama did not want her as the presidential candidate all along. Here, watch this.
Well, Democrats are spilling all of Biden's secrets to reporters. It's a lot of fun to read. They're giving us an inside look into Biden's team, what they were doing to cover his decline, and how he made Kamala Harris beg for his endorsement. Now, this new book also claims former President Obama secretly didn't want Kamala Harris to get that job. In fact, he waited 5 days to endorse her. And here's the book's author, Jonathan Allen, breaking it all down.
President Obama absolutely did not think that Joe Biden should continue, according to our sources close to President Obama. And he also didn't want Kamala Harris to be the replacement for Biden. He didn't think that she was the best choice for Democrats. And he worked really behind the scenes for a long time to try to have a mini primary or an open convention or mini primary leading to an open convention, did not have faith in her ability to win the election. He was really working against her.
So, Ben, I was reading some of these details from a New York Post article, and here's one of the things they say that Allen further revealed on a phone call with the vice president on the day Biden passed the baton to Harris. Obama refused to endorse her candidacy as the nominee. That must have been a pretty awkward phone call to realize the kingmaker of the Democratic Party doesn't want you as the nominee.
Look, it's so funny when you see this now come out. Obama knew that she was a terrible vice president and was going to be a terrible candidate. And by the way, he also knew that Joe Biden was incapacitated, and this was their only option at that moment. Barack Obama might be one of the most brilliant political minds I've ever seen in the Democratic Party. He's very astute to what's going on. He understands talent. He understands electability. He's the best since Bill Clinton. And I'm sure he saw what we saw. We were all rooting for it to be Kamala Harris because we thought she was the easiest person to beat. He understood that she was vulnerable. He understood she was not going to be a great candidate. He understood the word salads were a disaster for her. He understood she didn't have an in-depth knowledge of a lot of foreign affairs, and she wasn't going to be good at defending herself. So you combined all that, it's not a good candidate. And I'm sure he's like, guys, we're going to give the White House back to Donald Trump if you guys don't understand how bad she is. So let's have an open convention. And by the way, an open convention is total chaos and anarchy. Yeah. He was so sure that Harris was going to lose that he was willing to say, let's go and just roll the dice at a convention, look out of control and insane, and we might get a better candidate than her. I think he was smart to say it. This book, by the way, is not shocking, because everyone else knew it was going to happen too.
Now, like I said, guys, we didn't really need a book to reveal what was already pretty obvious. Kamala Harris does not belong in politics. I mean, this, according to the new book, Fight Inside the Wildest Battle for the White House by The Hill reporter Amy Parnes and NBC reporter Jonathan Allen. So the book, it tackles the 2024 presidential campaign and, of course, the chaos that unfolded right after President Biden threw in the towel and ended his participation in the race. And then, of course, Kamala Harris took his place at the top of the Democratic ticket. Now, according to the book, Kamala Harris reportedly told friends in the aftermath of her defeat that she could have won the election if she had more time and if Biden hadn't run for re-election. But the book also said that these very same friends of Kamala Harris weren't buying it. Now, one of them even said it was effing bonkers. That's crazy. These are Kamala Harris's so-called friends. Now, one Harris advisor even said that the candidate's problem was substance. They needed more substance. And she just didn't have any more substance. But really, guys, the big bombshell from this book is how former President Barack Obama didn't think that she was the best choice for Democrats. And he worked really hard behind the scenes for a long time to try and basically have a mini primary or an open convention or maybe a mini primary leading to an open convention. I'm not really sure exactly what he was trying to do, but he didn't have any faith in her ability to win the election. And so now she's trying to tell us, I told you so. Maybe she should have a long, hard look in the mirror before she goes off and rants like this, right? You know what I mean, guys? Drop a quick yes in the comments down below. Hit the like button if I'm making sense to you guys. Also, subscribe to the channel and turn on all notifications so you don't miss out on new videos just like this one. All right, so get this. Democrats may be gloating about the stock market taking a nosedive, but economist Steve Moore, he says it's not President Trump's fault. It's actually China's fault. Here, watch this.
The real villain here is China. And as you know, the reason the market tanked today is because China tried to retaliate against us. I think that was like a economic declaration of war against the United States. And we have to have all our allies rally against China. They are an enemy of the United States. They're engaged in predatory trade practices. They don't play by the rules. They cheat and they steal. That's the country we have to bring to heel here.
And if we win this trade war, we could crush China. And I'm not talking just crush them. Like, we could put them out of business for a very, very long time.
We could.
Steve Moore, all right, tell your wife to have a drink and relax.
Right.
Jesse,
we'll
go back Monday.
They cannot win a trade war with the United States.
No, I agree.
They cannot possibly win that. And Trump is using that leverage to force them to play by the rules.
Right. Well, it's the first time we've ever even fought this trade war after 40 years, which is a good thing.
And honestly, guys, people, or at least the people I've been talking to, they're all for making every country pay their fair share. I mean, I've even heard from some fellow Trump supporters that they're ready to struggle a little bit just for things to be able to get better in the long term. I mean, a lot of us have been struggling our whole lives, right? I mean, At least this time, like, we know it's actually going to be getting us somewhere. But yeah, so back to this. U.S. stocks nosedive for the second consecutive day. And this is with the Dow Jones plunging 2,200 points right after President Donald Trump announced sweeping new tariffs, which rattled global markets. But for more, the real villain here is China. The reason that the market tanked today is because China tried to retaliate against it. China has also announced a 34% tariff on all U.S. imports, set to take effect on April 10th as a retaliation against Trump's tariffs. Trump, in response, he said on Truth Social that China played it wrong. Now, for more, it was more like an economic declaration of war against the United States, engaged in predatory trade practices. They don't play by the rules, they cheat and they steal. That's the country that we have to bring to heel here. And more, he said that he's confident that victory in this trade war could severely weaken China's economic standing, and Trump is using that leverage to force them to play by the rules. Now, as for Wall Street, the president said his economic policies will lead to a boom in the stock market. So just you wait, guys. And hey, guys, I keep getting messages from you guys, comments saying, hey, Ron, I keep missing your videos. I keep missing the breaking news. Can you please make sure I get notified? So I've taken care of you guys. All you got to do is hit the link in the description down below this video or in the pinned comment and join the breaking news newsletter. That's it. Totally free. As for the economy, well, the Senate just voted to pass a permanent extension of the president's 2017 tax cuts and $175 billion in new spending on border security. The president's also endorsed the Senate budget resolution. He said on Truth Social that every Republican, House, and Senate must unify. So they need to pass it immediately. Well, you heard the man, right, guys? I mean, it looks like they're going to go ahead and pass the tax cuts and the border security measures sooner than later. Now, apart from that, Alfredo Ortiz, the president of the Job Creators Network, he's telling people to ignore the noise about Trump's economy. He laid it out all in his very well-written op-ed, and honestly, it's a serious wake-up call. So here's the deal, guys. Job creation last month completely blew past expectations. I mean, we're talking 228,000 new jobs added. That's not just good. That is crazy good. And it's not just about the number. It's about where those jobs actually came from. Almost all of them were in the productive private sector, which is exactly where we want to see the growth, guys. Now, compare that to what we saw under the Biden administration, where nearly half of the new jobs that were created were government or semi-government roles. Basically, they're roles that don't directly boost the economic productivity of the country. Now, according to Ortiz, the jobs report reflects the strong ADP private sector payroll report, which also blew past the predictions and demonstrated the strength of Main Street. Now, on top of that, federal jobs dropped again last month because the Trump administration has been laser focused on cutting out inefficiency, right alongside with the Doge administration being led by Elon Musk. Now, according to a report from Challenger, Gray and Christmas, over 216,000 federal government jobs, they were cut last month. Gone. And let's be real, guys, a lot of those roles were just bloated overhead. They just slowed the economy down. Now, Ortiz, he even called them unproductive and a drag on the economy. Now, let's talk about something that's actually hitting home for everybody: wages. Under President Trump, wage growth is finally outpacing inflation. So this means people are actually starting to feel the difference in their wallets. Real improvements in living standards, which, let's be honest, guys, it's been slipping under Biden. Ortiz also pointed out to new polling from the Jobs Creator Network, which shows small business confidence and hiring remain at record highs following Trump's reelection. So all that noise from the media about how low consumer sentiment and small business worries, it's not matching what's actually happening on the ground. I mean, this data from actual small business owners, boots on the ground, it contradicts what the media spin is. As usual, there's a disconnect between legacy media narrative and what's actually happening on Main Street. Hey, by the way, guys, you've got to check out the Inner Circle. This is where our true supporters get exclusive access to content that I just can't share here, completely commercial free. It's also the best way to keep this channel going strong. So if you want to be a part of something special, join us over there. Links in the description or in the pinned comment down below. And one huge reason for this optimism: deregulation. The Wall Street Journal even called it one of the most sweeping deregulatory drives in modern US history. And job creators, they are surely reacting to it. The Trump White House has basically said to every federal department and agency, for every new regulation you roll out, repeal at least 10. Now, this is massive, guys. It is lifting a ton of weight off of small businesses. I mean, consider the Trump administration's environmental regulations alone. Just last month, The EPA, now led by Lee Zeldin, rolled out 31 separate deregulation actions to help small businesses and ordinary Americans. I mean, we're talking about easing rules on power plants, oil and gas, coal, car emissions, manufacturers, greenhouse gas reporting, even stuff like environmental justice, which honestly, nobody could even really define this stuff anyway. But here's the catch. The administration can only go so far. And so now it's Congress's turn to step up. Now, the big thing on the table is the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, or the TCJA. So this law gave small businesses a 20% tax deduction, the ability to expense things immediately, and lower tax rates across the board. And so this is why small businesses in JCN polling overwhelmingly support it by a huge 4-to-1 margin. But if Congress doesn't act, well, then the tax relief expires at the end of the year. And if that happens, well, this could crush Main Street. Taxes on average Americans could go up by 22%. That's completely unacceptable. Ortiz is calling for even bigger tax cuts this time around, like bumping the small business deduction up to 25% and dropping the corporate rate down to 15%. For the small business leader, that would give businesses the confidence and the stability that they need in order to plan ahead, hire more people, and keep the economy on fire. So Congress, they have to act as soon as possible. And really, the bottom line for everybody, ignore the noise, guys. Despite what mainstream media wants you to believe, small businesses are thriving. The data doesn't lie, and the momentum is real. But now, Congress needs to kind of get off the sidelines and make the TCJA permanent, or possibly risk derailing everything. They just approved the budget blueprint in the Senate. So let's keep an eye on this one for the next one, all right? Now, in the meantime, let me know what you guys think about this. Like, are you seeing this confidence where you live? Are businesses hiring? Are wages growing? Or is the media narrative just clouding what's really happening on the ground? Drop a quick comment down below, guys. I really want to hear from you guys. Appreciate you guys hitting the like button and subscribing. We'll see you next time.